I hated knowing that my thoughts had turned to dream, cause I never knew I'd get my chance to link up. Oh, I tell you all of this unusual to me. Swear I came from the bottom, flappers living, walking dead on. Put your favorite rapper's name up on the headstone. Big for the cheese and you're dead wrong. Propaganda set the standards in the tear down.
Throw it back, yeah, I'm born to it's talking, it's hustling me where I'm at. I'm living how I want now. No reason to look doubt, it's clear to see. All eyes on me, 400 degrees. Who am I? Ruthless, easy, does it. In public, hated or love it. The underdogs with liquor swabs. It was written in my diary to start a war. I'm feeling infamous, immortal with my technique. A revolutionary shining with diamond teeth. Young Don Cartagena, excuse my demeanor. This the glamour life, you still not a player, you ain't half as nice. I'm born again, life after death. I made the sacrifice, I'm super duper fly. Juicy, keep them hypnotized. I said my name is Juice, America's most. Ain't no half stepping, see you at the crossroads.
Money over on my headstone. Here lies them getting paid for. Never take a loss on my headstone. Only take a when I'm dead. I be gang 3 times on my headstone. Been from the cradle to the grave. Now your favorite rapper name on a headstone. Too late, he already lived. It was written in the children's story. Their life's a so what you want.
First opened in 2002, there's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. They'll run for the first time with Johnson. And he'll get about 6 up to the 27-yard line.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Here we go. 180! Flag!
On the ground, this is Johnson. And just a short gain that time as they're able to get him down. Now I think we're going to get a timeout here. Yes, a timeout here as it looks like we've got a Lion that's shaken up. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. An early test, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2.
We got 3. Here we go. 180! 21.
To throw is Garoppolo. On the crossing route, complete. It's Garrett. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues.
Here we go. 180!
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. So a loss of 5, and it'll be 2nd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage.
Hey. You got 3. 180! 180! Flag!
On 2nd down, here's Garoppolo. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. Daniil Hunter in there to get him. Sack number 14 for him on the year.
Sack, baby! Sack!
So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long?
3 down. 12, fellas. Here we go.
On play action, now Garoppolo. He's going to air one out. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Here comes the Lions punter now. As the first drive of the game stalls out, he's on to punt. He punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And the Vikings will take over here, 1st and 10. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Detroit! Detroit!
The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. And incomplete to open things up.
Yeah, good game catching the ball in the backfield a week ago, and they're going to try and involve him in that way in this game as well. But you can tell scouting is taking over. They're making it a little bit more difficult.
Now, defensively, they told us, hey, we've got to take him out of the passing game, limit it to just short runs, because he can really impact this offense. Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. It's caught by Mike Evans. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
So that one will be accepted. They'll set up a throw. Oh, a scrap for the football, and he's going to come down with it. 23 yards on the play. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
It takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver, because you've got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
And they'll go on the ground. It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Here we go.
And they'll go with the ground attack here. And he'll be brought down here at the 28. It's a gain of 6, moves him to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
All right, Brand, I know we're in the early going here, but those kind of runs, they're going to open up a world of opportunities for this offense going forward.
180! 180! 6!
Garoppolo looking to throw on 3rd and 2. And this one is incomplete.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this 3rd down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. This is taken at the 15. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach.
He rifles one that's intercepted. He's picked off at his own 46. And a super return as he gets us all the way down inside the 25-yard line. So cancel the interception, pass interference.
And you know what else gets canceled? The return yardage. Makes the play, but now it's all for naught.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. They'll tussle for it, and this is going to be caught. A good pickup there at 22.
I know we just saw a nice throw and catch, but how about the big guys up front buying that time? Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They created time and allowed the space to happen, and it turned into a really nice play.
He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up, 2nd and 10. And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Over the middle to Evans. And they'll get this one down to about the 20-yard line. 11 yards there as they connect on the quick slant.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the quarterback a really nice target.
A little dump off for Crowell. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. Call it a pickup of 7, and it's a 2nd down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. 9 yards on the play there, and it sets him up 1st and goal. They'll try and run for it with Crowell. And he will take this one into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. Isaiah Crowell with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Vikings have taken a first-quarter lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he will be taken down here as the first quarter of play will come to an end. Back here with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. We've had the kickoff to begin the first quarter. Now it's time for the second quarter kickoff. And they've got it here with a first down. Now they'll run on the draw. And that didn't fool anybody. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
The best play callers in any league know how to break their tendencies. They study themselves, they self-scout, and they realize most of the time you don't call a draw play on 1st and 10. So every so often you insert that play just to make the defense think, even if it's not successful.
Trying to lay one up deep. And both guys were there, but it falls incomplete.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Throwing is Garoppolo on 3rd down. Going right inside here, and that's complete. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. It's a gain of 20 and picking up the first. Garoppolo looks to throw. He sets to fire deep. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
Even without a ton of pressure in his face, it just shows how difficult it is to pick apart his own defense. Those guys are sitting back, and they're not playing receivers as much as they're playing the eyes of the quarterback and when he delivers the ball.
Looking to throw, Garoppolo. Charles, he doesn't seem to be particularly in tune with his receivers, just 2 for 7 throwing the football, but he did seem really locked in before the game.
Yeah, and that has to do with receivers sometimes. Sometimes the defenders knock them off their routes, and you're usually pretty precise. 1, 2, 3 cut, balls out of his hands to the receiver. In this case, might be off by a half step either way. They've got to find a way to get back in sync.
Garoppolo now, escaping the pressure right. He can run for it, and he will. And he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48.
And, partner, I would guess that in his headset he was hearing from his coach, it's third down, don't take a sack. And in this case, he's able to avoid the pressure and get out of there. He doesn't get the first down, but he does turn a possible loss into positive yardage.
And this one will wind up being down just outside of that 20-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They may have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure the defense will make some adjustments, but they've got to have great confidence having scored the last time out.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. On second down, here's Crowell. And a short gain there as he'll get it up only to about the 24. Give him 3 on the play, and it'll be 3rd down.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
Now the throw on 3rd down, knocked away and incomplete. Here's Pat O'Donnell now as he'll punt it away for the second time. Pulled in at the 24. A good return there, 17 yards. And the Lions will take over. Here's the Detroit offense now as they head back out onto the field. So far, they've had 3 drives, 3 punts. Not good.
Not good indeed, because you've got to have something to show for being out on the field. Now, sometimes, if you have a game where neither side has scored, 3 punts isn't a bad thing. But when you're trying to set the pace, get up on top in a game, you've got to show better offense and find a way to put some points on the board.
Meanwhile, this one knocked down in the backfield. It's incomplete. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Throwing now is Garoppolo. And incomplete here, so a little razzle-dazzle on that one, but they couldn't hook up, and it's 3rd down.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things, but once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
13. 6.
To throw, it's Garoppolo. Flush to his right. Now he'll let it go deep. It's caught inside the 25. Touchdown, Detroit. A big play there. His 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Lions are an extra point away from tying this thing up. Extra point good by Prater, and we are tied at 7. So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And he's going to take this all the way down inside the 40.
Well, that return gives them a golden opportunity to go out in front. How will the defense respond after giving up that type of a return?
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. It's caught by Crowell. And he gets it down to the 32. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll make it 2nd down. Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down.
Detroit! Detroit!
Back to throw. Going underneath for Crowell. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. And the play goes for 19 yards. Gives him a new set of downs.
We can talk all we want about football being a game of strength and brawn. It's also a game of mismatches, and they're trying to create one there, getting it to their back out of the backfield to make a bigger play.
As we often say, get it to him in space, let him use his leg.
Yeah, if he can get a matchup against a linebacker or maybe a defensive end dropping out in a zone blitz, he's going to win that battle just about every time.
And he's going to get about 4 down inside the 10 to the 9.
Some of the most unselfish players on any football team, defensive tackles, because we ask them to just eat up blocks and allow other people to make tackles. But when he can make a play himself, as we just saw there, that's a big day.
All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
From the shotgun, he'll look to throw. And he is caught at the 7-yard line. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down.
Detroit! Detroit!
Here's a carry for a former starter. This is Lamar Miller. And he won't have the touchdown, but he will have the 1st down as he's tackled at the 2. And they got 3 yards. That's enough. A conversion, and now it's 1st and goal. Two of their 3 red zone trips so far, they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. To play in a tightly contested first half. We'll come back to Ford Field after this. Two of their 3 red zone trips so far, they've come up empty on. They'll look to reverse that trend on 2nd and goal. They'll try and punch it in with Crowell. And he'll get in. Touchdown, Minnesota. Isaiah Crowell with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 8 on the season. And the Vikings are able to strike for 6. Out comes the kicking team here for the extra point. Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 14-7. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And that should give his guys a spark. He's up all the way to the 44-yard line.
Any return that gets you to midfield is a great return. 1 1st down, and you're almost in field goal position.
Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10.
Here we go, here we go. 180! 21, 21.
They fake the give. Now Garoppolo looks to throw. The Vikings Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. And when a free safety goes like he did there, he better be sure he's going to be able to make a play.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, because I have a feeling that the defensive coordinator and head coach are on the sideline screaming, no, no, no. Good play.
Yeah, good
play.
job. Buying time to his left. And he's going to go down again. And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout, as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down.
Here we go. Three down. Watch eight. 56. Mike, 56. Right there. 56. Don't let him breathe. Play that tight deep. Don't let him breathe, defense.
There's Garoppolo to throw. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up fourth down.
Well, we quit counting yardage on that one, didn't we? That was truly third and a mile, wasn't it?
It was. I thought they might just go underneath, but they didn't. They wanted to get the first down there.
Yeah, they tried to pick up the huge chunk unsuccessfully. I'm with you. I would have tried to take some yardage just to gain some field position.
A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And they were able to punch it in the end zone last time. They'll be looking to do that again here for the defense. Obviously, they'll be looking to stop them from punching it back in the end zone.
It always is punch-counter-punch, isn't it? And which team has the advantage? Well, let's just go back. Last time on...
Well, the defense loses him. It's complete. Touchdown, Vikings. A big play there. 76 yards. And the Vikings get the quick strike touchdown. Extra point right down the middle. And it's now 21-7. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. That'll be taken in the end zone. Shifts by him. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. And Detroit getting set to go now. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here, as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number one. A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10.
Here we go.
Garoppolo on first down. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Garrett. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A really nice gain of 25 yards. Throwing on first is Garoppolo. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. And he'll go down here right around the 23-yard line. And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout, as they'll stop it with 25 seconds to go here in half number one. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. Garoppolo again. But when this ball's tipped and intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks.
Well, if you go by the numbers, you'll find as the temperature goes down, so does the passing efficiency. And now that we're in December, even the routine throws are going to be harder for the quarterbacks. And this one, it winds up getting picked off.
The clock showing just 16 seconds till the half as they line up 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on first down. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. Again from the 20 after the incompletion. Here's 2nd and 10. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Throwing deep for Galladay. And this throw will be intercepted. Picked off around the 27. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half. Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10. Garoppolo, a final shot here before half. He's going to let it go again. And that is incomplete. So we hit halftime with our visitors, the Vikings, taking the lead to the locker room. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach, the Vikings have to like their position. They've got the lead. They get this football as well as we are back and underway for the second half. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, I think you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken.
And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes.
They need to stop to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go to the lockers with that 2-3 score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Open here, Adam Thielen. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. That one goes for 24 yards.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
This quarterback now 10 of 16 throwing the football. It's 1st and 10. They'll look to throw. He'll find Thielen working the middle. 10 more there and another first down.
Lucky 56. All right, now, lucky 56. Lucky 56.
A first down carry now for Crowell. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. On play action, they'll throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Evans. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down. Whatever the discussions were at halftime to try to slow down this offense, it has not worked to this point.
Yeah, I have a vision right now of everything that was discussed at the half just being torn in shreds or being erased off of the Microsoft Surface tablets because none of it is working. They are really locked in on offense.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And this return is going to be halted right around the 28-yard line. Just a little bit of a rough stretch. 6 interceptions now in these last 2 weeks combined.
I know the easy thing is to go back to mechanics, footwork, things of that nature. I'm also wondering, is he getting fooled by what he's seeing on defense? Has the scouting report changed? Are they showing him things different than what he expected? For the second week in a row, he's throwing it to the guys in the wrong color shirts.
Yeah, he better figure, whatever the reason is, he better figure it out. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
They brought the blitz that time, and I thought they were going to get to him, but instead, he flipped it on its ear and ended up picking up positive yardage.
I thought he was dead to rights, but you are exactly correct, sir. Able to turn that into a positive gain. Garoppolo. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep two hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on third down.
Left 80! 180!
From the gun on third, Garoppolo. Oh, a battle for it here, and this will be caught. And they pick up 25 as they convert on third.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Here's Garoppolo on 1st and 10. This one left side caught by Barrios. And they'll be inside the 35 now at the 34-yard line. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is the receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Everson Griffin in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year. So the sack of Garoppolo. And now what can they come up with on 3rd and long?
6!
Working from the gun, Garoppolo. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Here comes the Lions punter now, as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And problems spreading to the punt team now. This one goes all the way into the end zone on the fly, so that'll come back to the 20. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. And in enemy territory last time through the interception. We'll see what they do on this drive.
Can't wait to see how it alters what they decide to do in play calling. Do they continue to throw the ball? Do they want to lean more on the running game? It'll be an interesting sequence of plays that they've got coming up.
Does it often affect the play calling with the interception? How much does that change what they do?
I think it...
And he's going to be wrapped up and driven down.
I know there'll be a little bit of criticism there because they went right back to the air after the huge pickup and end up getting sacked. That's often a play that you make. You feel like you've got momentum on your side.
Unfortunately, the O-line failed to hold up to try to keep that momentum going. And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. And incomplete on the deep ball. Kenny Galladay is intended receiver. And now it's 3rd down. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on 1st down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off at the 49. And a huge return as he'll take this one all the way down inside the 30-yard line. That is now 7 interceptions between last week and this week. 3 in this game, 4 a week ago.
And I saw the head coach write on his play sheet and make a little note. I hope he's writing self-scout. Bring in the guys that scout games for you with a different eye and watch him and see what's going on, and maybe they can pick up what the flaws are, and hopefully they can correct them.
So after the INT, it's Garoppolo. Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Here we go.
Play action. Garoppolo. Going up top. So the long attempt falls innocently to the ground, and it brings up 3rd. Well, the passing game right now for them, not overly impressive. Last week he hit on right at 50%. This week he's under 50%.
And it's not just on him. Protection, a few breakdowns along the way. That's made him get off the spot. Receivers not getting their way open downfield. The coverage has been awfully tight. They've got to all get together and find ways to make this passing game get in gear.
He's going to wind up and air it out into a double team, and it's intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Well, I tell you, Brandon, this ball's intercepted, but it is third down. So the silver lining is that since this is so far down the field and there wasn't a big run back associated with it, really this kind of works like a punt. It's not an altogether bad result.
Back to throw now in his own end zone. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he's able to get this across the 10 before being taken down.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
And he works it across the 25 before being tackled. And a nice carry there of 15 yards.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
That one goes for 24 yards. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. Just they move, and they know it affects the defense, because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. They go play action here on first down. To the right and complete to Galladay. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. They have the nice cushion. They just want to pour it on right now, still throwing the football.
And I know my background says, why do you need to do this? Just go ahead and run out the clock and get a win. But as many people pointed out to me, it's a video game, man. Go ahead and put the numbers up. Sportsmanship, not an issue.
Exercise those fingers. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9. Give him 8 on the play, and it'll be a second down. Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards. Now a handoff to Crowell. And here he'll get it down to the 7. And give them 2 yards there as they're set up now with a 1st and goal. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what was said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3 and out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down.
And they go the wrong way on this one. Losing yardage back at the 12. It's a loss of 5 there, bringing up 2nd.
Brandon, it's clearly a running situation when you're up in the 4th quarter. They're going to have to stack the box and make it difficult for them to move the ball.
Made it very difficult right there, and now they need to repeat that effort.
Yeah, bring 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take to slow them down.
And intercepted, maybe the turning point they need. Picked off inside the 5. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used a calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, They're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it, and that's where he is right now. He's just locked in a really bad way.
And throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. From the gun, it's Garoppolo. And to the right side here, complete. And he'll get this one way up just shy of the 45-yard line. A gain of 39 that time. 4th quarter, every drive's so critical, and you figure may only get one more shot after this, so a touchdown's imperative on this drive.
It is, but you also have to think to yourself in play calling, don't hold anything back. Don't save it for the 2nd touchdown. You've got the 1st one for the 2nd one to even matter.
It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down. Got to give some credit there defensively. They snuffed out that screen early on 1st down.
Really read it well, didn't they? Because they didn't bring the pressure that they expected. They covered all the passing lanes. So once you see it break down as the passer,
the Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Danielle Hunter in there to get him, and that is sack number 15 for him on the year. So the sack of Garoppolo, and now what can they come up with on 3rd and long? On play action, now Garoppolo. He's going to sling this deep downfield. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by the former first-rounder Trey Waynes. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They begin with a run by Crowell. And he finds enough of an opening to get this one back up to his 20. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3. Got to figure now, after getting that turnover, they're just going to be happy to keep the ball on the ground, right?
This is where covering the football, taking care of the ball, all the ball security terms that have ever been used, they come into play for the guys on offense right now. Just take care of it, and they've got a good chance of ending up winning this game.
They'll find a man over the middle. It's Galladay. And he takes us up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a 1st down. And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. They'll look to throw now on 1st down. And he slings one that's incomplete.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
So 2nd down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40.
Detroit! Detroit!
The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Well, they're slinging it, and then there's one you got to put a timer on, huh? I mean, that one came in hot.
That came in hot, but overthrown out of his reach and incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. They'll look to throw here. And his guys are going to get the football at their own 47-yard line. Gosh, you add up last week and this week now, that's 9 interceptions in this 2-game stretch, and we're not done here.
It's almost as if they can't even believe their eyes. Or maybe, partner, is the confidence level in him so high that they believe he'll get out of it and make plays for them to win a game.
Well, they've said they believe in him. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off at the 24. And he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line. Time for a break. We're back to finish this one off after this. Good starting field position for the Vikings as they have it 1st and 10. Here's a give to Crowell. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags. They're down here in the 4th, and that personal foul penalty is not going to help.
No, in these types of situations, players will tell you that's extra intensity. From where we sit, it's actually frustration. Not a good play.
And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off at the 36. And they have possession, and they have it at the 38-yard line. What a nightmarish game he's having now. 6 interceptions that he has thrown.
Absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Hard to believe we're watching this and have seen it, but it just tells you about the game of football. They give it and they take it to run it.
Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. And now following that sack, looks like we've got an injured man down there on the field. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. Now it's the backup Stafford. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off near the 44. And he returns it into enemy territory down to the 45-yard line.
Obviously disappointing, but you had to go for broke here, down 2 scores. So that forced you to make some throws you definitely wouldn't want to make. And I think this interception is going to pretty much write an end to this one.
That one looks like he'll throw here. On the move to his left. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
Brandon, that's just football 101. If you're out of the pocket, you've got to get rid of the football in this situation. You cannot take a sack in a 2-minute drill.
So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. Back to throw. And he's got the hook up here. It's Kyle Rudolph. A big play there for Minnesota. 41 yards.
As we continue to advance in the NFL, as people continue to scout players, they really don't care as much about body types as they care about those guys who can make people miss, run through tackles, and gain all that additional run after catch. Anybody that has that ability, they want them on their team.
And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. Have to imagine this will be on the ground as well as they come up 2nd and 7. Again, it's Crowell. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. It's a gain of 7, and that should just about do it.
Yeah, once more, strong running, excellent blocking at the point of attack. They've got a nice little drive brewing right here.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. It's a gain of a couple, and it'll be 2nd and goal. From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They come out here in the eye. He's going to get it running right. And he will take this one into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. Isaiah Crowell taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead. Now the extra point try forthcoming. Extra point splits the uprights, and the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or 2 shy of the 30. Here's the Lion offense now as they get ready to take over. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. Well, Charles, it's great to win at home in the NFL. When you win on the road, it's a little extra special, isn't it?
It is, because let's